Good morning, America. It's Hugh Hewitt. I got a special treat for you. Bill Bennett is back. Dr. William J. Bennett, former Secretary of Education, former drug czar, New York Times bestselling author more times than I can count. His brand new edition of America, the Last Best Hope is out. It's a one-volume edition of America, the Last Best Hope. I'm going to follow the Frank Luntz rule and say America, the Last Best Hope 7 times. Dr. Bennett, welcome back.
Dr. Hewitt, how are you, man?
I hate having you on because you know what happens after you're on every time? Dwayne gets a million emails about wanting Bennett back. I tell him he's retired, not retired, but he's not getting up that early anymore.
No, I don't get up that early, but, you can't break a habit. So can I tell you what worries me?
What?
Ignorance about America, hatred
God.
of Trump, and a surfeit of Baker Mayfield commercials.
Oh, now look, we can't get too many of those. I've got a list of 5 things to talk to Bill Bennett about. 6 things, actually. Let's go. Brexit, number 1. We are born of England. We are the English-speaking peoples. But what has happened, in my view, is the collapse of an institution old as almost the Magna Carta. What do you think of this collapse of integrity by the Parliament?
Well, not expert enough. Not as expert as you. As part of the collapse of Europe. And maybe it will be saved by a good, strong leader, but the whole European scene is very discouraging and depressing to me. Yes, we are of England, but we are now a long way from England.
Okay, America, the Last Best Hope is about our experiment, but I have been reading recently Dr. Kissinger's on China, Graham Allison's Destined for War, and Michael Pillsbury, the 100-Year Marathon. Yep. As you have reflected, writing history about America, did China ever enter into our picture until Nixon went there? Are we aware of what they represent?
I think we are aware now much more because of this president. And my view is that whether we get a really good or satisfactory deal or not, this president will get credit for confronting China and educating a lot of people about China. I don't think people understood what China was all about. Now they're learning.
Now, Bill, if anyone was smart in corporate America, they would hire you to come advise them how to speak about China. Here is Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, yesterday, talking about NBA values cut number 5.
So the regrettable notion was that we had upset our fans. I didn't think at that time, while we were saying we regretted upsetting our fans, that also at the same time supporting Daryl Morey's right to express himself, right to tweet. Obviously, we made clear that we were being asked to fire him by the Chinese government, by the parties we dealt with, government and business. We said there's no chance that's happening.
Obviously, he made nothing clear there, Dr. Bennett, because they don't really know what they believe. What should an American company do in that situation?
I think an American company should follow the example of another American company. And I think, is that Viacom that owns South Park?
Yes.
The NBA should act like South Park and stick it to him. This is really craven. I don't watch much of that pro basketball anyway, but the slavish obeisance to the Chinese, again, part of the revelation about what China is. If people are learning that, that's a good thing, and thanks to the president and the South Park guys.
China Rising is a 100-year plan begun in 49. It's 30 years away. And sometimes I'm gloomy, Bill Bennett. Sometimes I'm really gloomy that we can prevent this eclipse. What does Bill Bennett think on the dark nights?
Well, you remember Committee for the Present Danger. It exists again. Committee for the Present Danger China is its new name. Brian Kennedy is its chairman. I recommend people take a look. Your friend Tom Cotton is a close advisor to it. And it seeks to educate people about China and to confront China on these critical issues. Look, if we get smart and we get tough and we persist in the way the president's doing, yes, we'll be fine. If we kowtow, if the government begins to act like the NBA, we're done. We're done.
Kowtow is actually a word that came out of the Chinese imperial court. Do you think that America,
that's right.
America,
unwittingly,
unwittingly, but it's perfect. Does America, the Last Best Hope, get to be sold in Chinese?
Well, I don't know. There was a book I did called The Book of Virtues. The Chinese bought it and apparently sold 1 million copies. I never got the royalties. This happened.
What?
But I never got the royalties. But this is what a lot of people do. They go to China with their wares, because they count the number of people and they don't get a return. It's all right. I thought it would be good to have for the Chinese people, Chinese families. The one thing I found out long after publication was that they took one chapter out of the Book of Virtues. That chapter was called Faith.
Oh, Nina Shea was part of my Nixon forum last week. Their war on faith is four corners, 100%, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That's their war on faith.
You know, I was a dissenter at Empower America from Jack Kemp and the others when most favored nation status. You remember the theory, of course, everybody remembers capitalism will loosen it up, it'll make it freer.
End of history.
End of history, but it didn't. It made them worse. It's a terrible place, terrible people.
All right, Dr. Bill,
not the citizens, terrible government. Not the citizens,
the party.
Terrible government.
The party.
The party.
Before I move on to a specific topic, impeachment, which is covered extensively in America, the Last Best Hope, I want to ask you about the opioid epidemic. You were the drug czar and a very successful one. Was this on our radar?
Nope, not this stuff. Not this stuff. Because this is a different thing, very different, and in some ways more difficult, harder to get at. But also, it's being misinterpreted, misunderstood. People don't get what this is mainly about now. It might have started for a lot of people. They're going to do that settle that lawsuit in Ohio. But with the prescription drugs, but for the most part now, we're seeing people dying in these record numbers from fentanyl. It's not your prescription drugs. It's not your oxycodone, your Vicodin. Where people have had trouble with that, it has mostly been by diversion. It's stolen, it's taken out of the medicine cabinet, it's given or sold to somebody else. People who follow the instructions and the directions, for the most part, are fine. Were there mills? Were people pushing it? Were the companies pushing it too much? Yes. But don't look for a solution in the wrong place. The problem now has changed. President's serious about this, wants to get on it. Very tough, and I think even more attention has to be paid. 70,000 people a year now.
Bill Bennett, I want to put my producer hat on for a second. I don't know who your producer at Fox News is. I would watch an hour-long special of Bill Bennett hosting as former drug czar what we should do with this opioid settlement money, because it's going to be a lot of money, and it's going to go in. It's going to get wasted like water into the sand unless someone has a plan to use it smart. Would you be interested in doing that?
Oh, sure. I'd be glad to do such a show. Of course I would. I talk on this every chance I get. The problem? You don't get asked to talk about it much. As big a problem as this is, it doesn't get much attention. It didn't get much attention in the debates, and it's a shame.
It's bigger than AIDS. You and I were both in government when AIDS swept America. This is more deadly than the acquired immune deficiency syndrome.
That's right. And as I keep telling you, this administration, it's very big in Trump country. It's I don't have to tell you about Southern Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. That's the center. I went up to New Hampshire, $2 to get a hit of fentanyl on the street. Real problem. Got to address it. We can address it too. We can address it directly. We did this back in the late '80s, and the problem diminished. It went down. Drug use went down. The price of cocaine went up. Emergency room admissions went down. You can do something about this.
Let me tell you, I think actually it's a Netflix series with Bill Bennett. I would watch every episode of that, where it came from, how you fight it, what it means. Now let me turn to America, the Last Best Hope. Impeachment is back front and center. Impeachment has happened 3 times before. This is the 4th time. How do they compare and contrast?
3 times. You're counting Nixon?
I'm counting Nixon.
Okay. Well, this is it's Federalist 65, right? Hamilton. The use of impeachment should never be party driven. It should never be a party issue that is one party against another. How's that for foresight on the part of Hamilton? This is a party agenda. This is not a dispassionate or objective look. This is the next stage in hate Trump. I don't think it'll fly. I know you say, as a quoting Jerry Ford, impeachment is whatever the House wants it to be, whatever it says it is.
Yep.
Like indicting a ham sandwich. Yes, operationally that's true, but it's not true in the founders' view in this sense. They thought it had to be a serious issue on which people from different parties, both parties, 3 parties, would agree. We don't have anything like that. And besides, the offense here, it's not going to stick. He's not going to be removed from office. They may impeach. They probably will, but he will not be removed from office.
But very smart people. I admire Matt Lewis a lot. A lot. I think he's one of our finest correspondents. Matt tweeted 33 minutes ago, but let me repeat this. If what Trump has done is not impeachable, then nothing, in caps, is impeachable. I look at that and I say, what planet is Matt living on?
I know. You know, the more I look at this, the more I read the transcript, the more I listen to it, it gets clearer to me that the ambiguity has to be resolved. If there is ambiguity, but the president was talking about 2016, that he was talking in a way about the legitimate inquiry into election fixing, and Ukraine was central to that. The Biden thing was an afterthought, but Biden was the vice president. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. I think I read the transcript 20 times now. It's not a quid pro quo.
No, it's not quid pro quo.
Now, Bill, let me conclude by asking you, since you wrote this book, America, the Last Best Hope, you know Nixon.
Yeah.
I've just taken over the Nixon Foundation. How would you describe what President Nixon was going to be impeached for? What was the impeachable offense there?
There was misuse of abuse of office, lying under oath, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sorry, the Clinton's lying under oath. But it's not what we've got now. It's not what we've got.
See,
you were there. You tell me.
I think it comes down to his ordering the CIA to tell the FBI not to do it, and maybe the Ellsberg break-in, but that never actually, the CIA order never was implemented. But my point being, people say Watergate, they don't know what it means. It was so much more long pursued. The hearings went on all the summer of '73. You were probably a grad student then. There's nothing like that now. There is no preparation for the public for this.
No, that's right. And the public is very weary already from 2 years of this, of the pursuit of Trump. And this case, not a very strong case against the president. And it's a shame. It's a shame. But this guy has had to face things that I don't think anyone else has faced. You were there during Nixon era. I've been through a lot of these presidents, and this is the worst I've ever seen by a long shot.
But in the media, in terms of the derangement of the media, I agree. They hate him.
The media, the Democrats. But look, just one thing about the book. This is the greatest political story ever told, that ever to occur on planet Earth, the American story. And our children do not know this story. And this is why we can have these Democrat debates that talk about him as an immiserated, horrible, cruel place, even though people still beg to come here, that we can flirt with ideas of socialism. People don't know the story. And it's not just our children. Most of our adults don't know this story. And they need to know the story.
The story is in America, the Last Best Hope. I just tweeted it out. Go and get it for your kids, get it for your grandkids, get it for yourself. Dr. William J. Bennett, good to talk to you as always, my friend. Thank you for getting up early. I appreciate it. America, the Last Best Hope.